It is super disgusting right now, so this, again, I will try to make this one short. And yeah, woof, I haven't slept in 3 days because Sound Drop, my distributor, or the distribution service, rather. It's not like I am in contact with anyone there. The distribution platform that I use for legacy DSPs, I suppose. DSP, God damn it! So many DSPs. DSPs means digital sound processing. Also, it's digital streaming platform, and also it's dark side fill, of course. I think it's some kind of Indian thing also, because like if you search DSP on YouTube, half the videos you get is like some kind of like Indian YouTube videos, you know, or at least it looks like that to me. Okay, so yeah, I'm using Sound-Drop, and Sound-Drop historically, ever since it became a thing, really, has been the only real distributor worth having, really, unless you are, unless literally you don't even have like $10. You can use TuneCore, which is a Russian distribution service, actually, and they technically don't charge money. There are quite a few limitations for distributing your music to legacy streaming services this way, but you could do it for free, and everyone else would pretty much charge you around $30 a year, so that you can upload your music to Apple Music, iTunes, and whatnot. Spotify's iTunes is no longer a thing, I believe. Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so you DistroKid and such, they normally will try to fearmonger you into thinking, well, because that's what they tell you, and it's essentially a lie, that if you don't keep paying for your subscription, your music will be deleted. Your music will no longer become unavailable. That's not really the thing, because to the distributor, it actually doesn't cost any money to keep your music up in those services. They are not in any kind of constant communication. There is no kind of like, monthly handshake that needs to happen in order, for the music to remain in Spotify. It's not a thing, really. Yeah, so in order to remove your music from those services, if you were to stop paying for the subscription, it would actually cost DistroKid money, because they would have to issue takedown requests or whatever, and there is literally no point for them to be doing it, because they are not obligated to pay you your royalties as long as you're not a paid as long as you don't while you're not renewing your membership. So basically they get to sit on your money, and they realize that, well, he will eventually come back when he wants his money or something, or he wants to make a change. DistroKid doesn't really allow you to make changes, by the way. Like if you, I don't know, if there's a typo in your lyrics somewhere, or even in the name of the song, maybe formatting not formatting, stylizing rather. Instead of all caps, the song got uploaded without caps, even if the storefront allows it. With Sound-Drop, you can correct things. You can actually contact them and be like, oh fuck, I accidentally uploaded a version of the track with a bit of an artifact with a click in the middle of the mix that I haven't noticed. Could you guys like update? They actually can do it. Like the distributor can absolutely push updates, but DistroKid wouldn't do it, for example. I don't know, maybe they do it now. Last time I was using them, which was over 5 years ago actually, DistroKid was just such a shitty website, and their heart was in the right place, but they had literally no personnel. There was nothing, like absolutely nothing. You couldn't contact anyone. I mean, you could. Maybe you'd get a reply in like half a year. I am dead serious. You couldn't contact anyone. You couldn't request any kind of support, and their website was buggy as fuck. And if you had any kind of problem with anything, good luck. It wasn't going it wasn't going to get fixed unless their automated website bullshit, couldn't make it so that whatever you're trying to do works. No one will manually, review your case. No one would manually help you. So that's why I left DistroKid, because I'm like, what the fuck am I paying money for? And I discovered Sounddrop, which actually started as an offshoot of DistroKid, believe it or not. But my situation was that I was thinking, you know what? No one's listening to my music on Spotify and such anyway, so I'll just keep it on Bandcamp. If anyone wants to download Hit Signature Soundtrack, they can find it there. It's available. So, no problem. But then I discovered Sounddrop, and Sounddrop can be expensive if you have a giant portfolio and you want to upload it all, right? But it's $1 per track, and it's always been $1 per track. So you have 10 tracks, right? So like $10 per album, and it stays there forever, because Sounddrop are actually fair like that, because it's not really going to cost us anything to keep your music there, in Spotify. So why the fuck would we keep charging you a membership fee? It makes absolutely no sense. Because what are you gonna do? Are you going to offer me any kind of support? Are you going to track down my music in case someone uses it somewhere? Are you going to copyright, or content copyright strike people on my behalf on YouTube or TikTok? No, you're not going to do any of those things. So why am I paying money? For what exactly? Well, Sounddrop is changing their business model from charging $1 per track to charging $5 per track, which makes absolutely no sense. This is not a gradual, inflation-based, price increase, or just generally speaking, kind of hey, we're big now. Everyone loves us now. Everyone knows about us now. So we can afford charging a little bit more, right? That's not that type of price increase. This is either absolute desperation or what it really looks like. It looks like a pre-collapse cash grab. One last ditch attempt, to squeeze as much money as we can, because we're literally shutting down tomorrow. So even if we lose all of our customers now, all of the people who would in the coming year potentially, upload their music through us, doesn't matter. If we can grab 100 people who will do the $5 thing, that's all we're thinking about right now. And another thing that they're thinking about is probably that now starting August, they will be charging $5. It prompted a crap ton of people to just upload their shit now. Upload it until August the 1st, so that it doesn't cost you $50 to upload, a track. to upload a 10-track album. Think of it. On DistroKid, it would be $30. And then for the next 365 days, you could keep uploading shit. Fantastic. No? Okay, cool. I thought it was a bit of a scammy situation, but if you upload a lot, let alone if your music actually makes money, okay, cool. The only problem is that DistroKid honestly didn't really offer any ongoing service to justify a constant like need to, you know, have a paid membership. It didn't make any sense because it didn't, you know, it didn't offer any services. Non-ongoing services. I mean, they deliver your music to like iTunes. Okay, cool. Service rendered. Can I just pay for that service and just my music stays there forever? No, I cannot. I have to pay every year or month. Okay, now that doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, but now, you know, you pay DistroKid $30. Like, do you plan on releasing an album next year? Well, then you might as well have DistroKid, because what's the point of having Sounddrop? It's gonna cost you like $50 to release that album. God forbid you have more than one. With DistroKid, you can have 15 tracks on that album, 20 tracks. You can have fucking 10 albums if you want. Nope. Yep. On Sounddrop, it's gonna be $50 to release 10 tracks. Like, doesn't that sound absolutely ridiculous to you? It sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. So it looks like a pre-collapse cash grab. I think it's not even that they think, okay, we need to jack up the price to make as much money fast as we can. No, they jack up the price so that people upload now for $1, you know, instead of waiting until the next year, because August will probably be the last month of Sounddrop. And they just want to give everyone an ass kick in the ass, telling dude, upload your music now, we're closing tomorrow, but we're not gonna tell you, but we're closing tomorrow, so upload it now. Want the money? You have the money? Okay, cool. Well, you should give us the money, because tomorrow it's gonna be 5 times the amount, so upload it now. Yeah, it will be 5 times the amount, and also Sounddrop will not exist anymore. I'm pretty sure, because like you don't do 5x price increase. You just don't. I'm sorry. Yeah, so if you're a musician and you have anything you plan on releasing anytime soon, and you don't have a distributor, or if you're using Sounddrop, consider lighting a bit of a fire under your ass and releasing it until August the 1st. Otherwise, I hope it's a one hour long like ambient release, you know, so that you can do it for $5. Otherwise, yeah, man, it gets pretty fucking pricey, honestly. What about people who like legitimately make like multiple releases a year? Or again, sweet baby Jesus forgive, but what if you have like an album of like jingles? What if you have an album of 30 what if you have an album of 30 like 1 minute long loops or jingles? You know, what if it's like a game soundtrack? Yeah, $150 to release it through Sounddrop. It makes absolutely no sense. Makes no sense. Even $1 per track, honestly, for somebody with a giant portfolio or somebody who releases a lot, like it can get, you know, over $100 a year easy. I.e., you might as well be subscribed to DistroKid. It surely, when I fully switched to Sounddrop after DistroKid, long story short, with DistroKid, there were problems. They couldn't be fixed because DistroKid has no humans, and I left it. So when I transitioned, period. Okay, when I transitioned to Sounddrop, I think it was about $100. I think I paid around $100 for all my shit to go up. I think even over $100. Yeah, because like quite a few of my releases had like, you know, like 12 tracks plus 12 instrumentals, you know. So yeah, I had a few releases that were like 30 tracks essentially. So yeah, over $100 easy. Well, now it would have been like what, 1,000, over $500 to do the same thing. It makes no sense. Why wouldn't you just subscribe to DistroKid for $30 or $35 or $50, however much the fuck they're charging? Like, legit, dude, if you have 100 tracks, if your portfolio is 100 tracks and you want to release it all to Spotify, you can either pay basically a dinner to DistroKid or $500 to SoundDrop. Yeah, no, fuck. I used to love SoundDrop because, well, I still love SoundDrop because they have a really good, well, might take up to a month periodically when you have a problem. But I barely had any problems with them. I had like problem on my end. I made it like, I think there was like 2 mistakes I once made, and I contacted them like if I can correct the release. You couldn't through the dashboard of their website, but you absolutely could if you just reach out in person. Like, yeah, they can manually do it. They'll do it just for you. So, absolutely love SoundDrop. I might have said SoundCloud a couple times in this monologue. If I did, me apologies. You know what I meant. And yeah, I'm not seeing it though. I'm not seeing. I'm not buying it. That SoundDrop is just increasing the price because they think they can, or because like they need it, but we're totally still in operation. No, it sounds to me like it's done. It's over. You don't do stuff like that because it doesn't make any sense on paper. $2. First of all, that's the step. The price increase step is either $30, so like $129 or even $119. You know, $119, $129, or $149. Right? If you absolutely have to, $199, not $499. That's not a price increase. That's emergency, is what it is. So yeah. If SoundDrop actually, for whatever reason, keeps existing, I am from now on. I'm only releasing on Spotify and iTunes and whatnot. I'm only releasing like hour-long ambient, loops. Well, not necessarily loops, but like continuous, like Bell Witch, style. Like hour and a half. Well, Bell Witch not necessarily hour and a half, approximately an hour usually, but you get what I'm saying, like 60, 90 minute long, giant, doomscape, as I am, as I coined the, god damn it, being eaten, as I coined the term. Feel free to not steal it at all. Doomscape. It's electronic ambient music with the feel of doom metal, or funeral doom metal, I suppose. Yeah, so that was fun. Aini. Oh wow, that was a great whistle. You want to go for a walk? Walkie. No? Let's see if he feels like doing so. I really don't want to go there almost because the insects are on the fucking attack today. Well, not today. They have been the entire month. Yeah, he wants to go there. And obviously, I can't really move my hands too much when I have leash in one hand and, phone on the other. So I can't really protect myself. So I'll be eaten alive. Or just doing this a lot. Trying to shake mosquitoes off my phone hand. Believe it or not, I'm actually kind of lucky, because I saw that email from SoundDrop notifying me of the really bad. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? Where are we running to? I was taking it easy. I was taking a bit of a break, only working for maybe 3-4 hours a day tops. And 3 days ago I tried doing that with the sound drop project, but nah, yesterday ended up doing this whole thing, the thing, the entire day, and today also. Probably we'll try taking it easier the rest of the day, evening and night, but I don't know. Anyway, I probably 2 days worth of work away from doing 2 emergency releases through SoundDrop. It's the 2 drafts that I uploaded to my YouTube, technically Bandcamp, and Patreon. Measurable Illusion and Surrender Depth. And I'm spicing it all up with some of my drones and some of my live improvs to make those releases, to fatten them up a little bit. Still gonna sound like crap, honestly, but considering, you know, none of that stuff was properly mixed at all. You know, all of those things were pretty much, well, the drones were mixed properly. That's why they probably gonna sound the best out of all of that stuff. Amy, not our territory. The drones were mixed properly, but live improvs and those core gadget drafts, demos, I mean, obviously, you know, those things were basically mixed exclusively with just volume sliders, you know. So there's only so much saving you can do on them through mastering, and that takes a bit of time, you know. And you end up with a shitty sounding thing anyway at the end, but at least something that's acceptable by like iTunes, you know, standards. Because like for YouTube, like no one cares. For YouTube, no one cares. I don't care. You know, it's just, you have something interesting, release the fuck out of it, you know. But if I'm actually making it, you know, not as a YouTube content type of thing, but as an actual release, you know, I'm gonna try. I will try, you know. And it's a lot of rather fool's errand type of stuff, of course. Because again, you know, if I were to make a real release out of those things, it would have need to be completely rearranged. But I don't have time for that. First of all, I never planned to do that anyway, because those were pretty like self-contained experiments, really. I mean, live improvs, literally impossible to rearrange, right? Because they were improvisations done live. I mean, you could recreate those, I suppose, technically, if you wanted to, but wouldn't sound particularly great because it's a fucking live improv. Like, it's quality. You know, it's sonical quality actually represents the depth, you know, of my thought that went into actually creating them, because they were live improvs. You know, there's only so much depth in them, but they do sound interesting, I believe. But yeah, each one of those live improv tracks, if you followed my streaming shenanigans, you will know, you know that it took me 1 evening to make each one of those. So maybe it's a bit of an overkill, you know, to be spending more than an hour of post, you know, post-production on those things. But there's quite a few, right? So I'm doing what I can. Yeah. So despite, you know, until everything got derailed with that sound drop email, was taking it a bit easier, you know, working on the novel again, or finishing the first one rather, I should say, and was, you know, played a few video games, surprisingly, a bunch of older games, I was told by ChatGPT to try G-Police and Colony Wars on PlayStation 1. And surprisingly enough, Colony Wars 3 for PlayStation 1 actually has a community widescreen patch. The only Colony Wars with one. There's not a lot of widescreen patches for PS1. So, interesting. I'm gonna check that one. Definitely. The second one I will not be checking out because I played the first one and I fucking hated it. Like, the controls are just ridiculously overly responsive. And, you know, this stupid arcadey structure of each mission is 20 seconds, but you need to know precisely what to do in each mission, starting with the third one, or, you know, you lose it in 5 seconds. So in order to do a 20-second mission, you need to restart it 30 times. Like, it's just gotten tiresome after a couple of hours. G-Police, very good idea, but I don't know. I don't understand. Like, no strafe. Really? If you know the game I'm talking about, I find it infuriating that G-Police doesn't have strafing. And also, I understand that you are essentially a helicopter, but limiting pitch access actually didn't make much sense for that game at all. Funnily enough, there's fucking graphic settings for that game. There's a field of view setting and the draw distance setting for that game. Insane. Obviously, you know, if you increase both, you know, you get absolute crap FPS. But what do you know? On the emulator, that's not a problem. So you can play. It's almost like, you know how, like, you play like PlayStation 3 and even PS4 games now on PC, and they are actually running at like full HD and 60 FPS, while on the console they ran at like 720p 30 on PS3 and like 1080p 30 on PS4. Yeah, that fucking upgrade from 720p to 1080p, but still playing 99% of your games in 30 FPS was just such a giant leap forward. I fucking love PS4 for how useless it was. I even have a giant rant about it somewhere, probably even still on my YouTube channel. I remember going on like a 15 or 20 minute long rant about how like 8th generation of consoles was basically completely pointless, because you might as well just either buy, Nintendo Switch for Nintendo exclusives, if that's what you need, and just have a computer, like that's it. Like, there's no need to have a console at all. Consoles had absolutely nothing to offer. Like, what? Oh, there was Bloodborne on PS4. Okay, anything else? Nothing? Oh, okay then. Thank you, Sony. I mean, I suppose technically there was like God of War, later in the game. Later in the game. Yeah, but, God of War was so late in the PS4 generation. It was essentially a PS5 game anyway. And now it's a PC game. So I played. Yeah, G-Police. Found it annoying. I got either 2 or 3 missions into disc 2, and I just said, I cannot anymore, I'm sorry. I played that PS1 Ghost in the Shell game, actually really fun. Omega Boost, fuck, that game is completely different. Like, I played the Japanese version, and I only gotten like 60% into it, probably. I don't know if I looked up the playthrough. The game takes 1 hour long to finish. It's an arcade style game, and I looked up playthrough on YouTube, and either you cannot upgrade above level 5 until you finish the game once at all, or there's just something. The game was overall made much easier for the American release, because I see what the person does and how easy it is for them to do, and like, that's not how things work. in the Japanese release at all. You cannot dodge that thing like that. If that thing hit you, you know, it would have taken like 40% of your health, not 5%. So like I have no idea if there's just something broken with me or something broken because of the emulation, like the game runs faster, you know, and like, you know, you get more like trigger, like more damage take events get triggered because of that or something like that, like possible. Or I think what is likely is that the Japanese version is much harder than the English, whatever, American version. So should have probably played that. Yeah, the Japanese version is hard as balls. What else did I play? Oh, I played Future Cop, LAPD, or LARD, as I call it, because instead of LAPD, it always looks to me like it says LARD. But yeah, it's like a top-down, isometric, almost like a twin, rather punishing. But all things considered, not really. The first level, though, is by far the best, and everything else is just not even remotely as good. Game takes about like 4 hours maybe to complete. Yeah, and like all of those games, you know, PS1 games, relatively arcadey. A lot of them are relatively, literally 1 hour long, like Omega Boost, for example. And it's been over a month, I think, or at least, well, not over a month. It's been a while since I went online, and one of the games I want to briefly mention right now, I was actually already playing when I was doing my last transmission. So finally gave Sleeping Dogs another shot, because I replayed True Crime Streets of LA recently, and again skipped on New York City. Like, just I'm not sure. No, I just don't want to play that game. It seems to me way too buggy. So yeah, let's play the third one. You know, True Crime Hong Kong. And by the way, the executable is literally called HK Ship, as in like this is the ship version, this is the ship build, and HK is in Hong Kong, obviously. So it is so funny. I don't understand why people do it. It's like the executable for Pogwarts Legacy is called Phoenix, because that was the project, the code name for the game, or maybe even the original official name for Pogwarts Legacy. It was Phoenix, I think, and they never renamed the executable. They shipped the game like that. I mean, I understand it technically doesn't matter, but on PC, people will find that out. It just looks stupid. You look stupid when you release something like that. You know, you have a game. It's like, I have my game. My game is called my game is called CLOUDOME, and it's like the executable for it. I would just like shit fuck piss. You know, oh, fantastic. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna ship it like that. Like, no, I'm gonna make sure that my executable is called CLOUDOME. Like, yeah, just, you know, AAA devs just don't give a fuck, and never gave a fuck, because Sleeping Dogs is a game from 2012, you know. So anyway, True Crime Hong Kong, also known as Sleeping Dogs, finally played it. Combat system is ass, but out of all the Batman combat systems, I mean, actually has a little bit of depth. Like there's like the Max Payne, you know, Mad Max 2015 also has this kind of combat. Zero fucking depth. You know, technically, Shadow of Mordor has the same type of combat. And, no, that one definitely has depth. But as like beat 'em ups, you know, like the Batman games or the Mad Max games, like Hong Kong is the same way. You know, it's a like just pure beat 'em up. You know, there's no like sword combos, no nothing like that. There are weapons, but it's primarily just like a brawler. At which point, by the way, I have no idea, like Nyakuza games, like Ryuga Gotoku games were already a thing at that point. Like, why couldn't you just have like done an actual brawler? You know, the true crime games actually had like a rudimentary fighting game combat systems. Or at least the first one. I never played the second one. There was like a legitimately mini fighting game combat system. And there was a brawler system as well. You know, there was kind of like a bit of an extended version of it for boss fights, where the game literally became like Virtua Fighter. You know, and there was a beat 'em up, kind of like a remix of the same combat system. You know, like True Crime Streets of LA was literally like multiple games in one. Ooh, speeder. Pretty big speeder. This is not the first time I'm seeing this speeder here, actually. Okay. Apologize for you witnessing this. Alrighty. So, yeah, man. Like True Crime Streets of LA was literally like multiple game genres. You know, what other game do you know of that just like randomly becomes a fighting game when there is a boss fight? Like Omicron? the first David Cage game? Okay, what other game can you name? Yeah, and with Hong Kong, they literally just went, okay, Batman combat system, fuck it. You know, that seems to be popping off right now. Let's just do that. Like, really? Really? Oh, I don't know. Because there are so many kind of like situations, though, the game has completely different kind of camera for just running around, being in combat, shooting, and driving. And also running. Like, you can see that a camera becomes completely different. Like, camera behaves absolutely different. Like, there needs to be a general, like, if you want to alter that FOV, there needs to be like a memory hack type thing that hacks into basically all the cameras and offsets their FOVs, like multiplies it, you know, by an int. Well, nobody cares to do that. Still, not for the original version, not for the definitive edition. No one tried ever to fuck with that game. Despite like Hong Kong being cult classic, like everyone loved Sleeping Dogs. I couldn't play it because on PlayStation 3, I feel like FOV was probably either still the same or even worse. Also, it was 720p and it was like 25 FPS, right? Because it was a PlayStation 3. Or a game on PlayStation 3, rather. And I just couldn't. Because FOV is like this fucking narrow in that game, like half the time. And here's the strange thing. People hate on shooting in Hong Kong. Shooting is actually, I feel like, pretty okay. I mean, third-person shooters suck in general. I don't know a single third-person shooter where shooting is satisfying. It's really visceral. Like, fucking blood everywhere. You know, it feels like Total Recall with Arnold. You know, the level of just, like, brutality. There. I felt like shooting was perfectly serviceable. Like, yeah. Like, it lacked certain very obvious kind of like gameplay systems for a proper cover-based, you know, third-person shooter. Ooh, nice catch. Oh, gee, good catch. Who did a good catch? Like grenades, for example. You know, the game had no grenades. But shooting is fine. Driving is literally the worst driving in any GTA clone. PlayStation 2 games included. Absolutely. Like, and True Crime 1, by the way. Like, True Crime Streets of LA had terrible driving physics. And even they are not as bad as the driving physics of True Crime Hong Kong, also known as Sleeping Dogs. Dude, those cars are just impossible in Sleeping Dogs. And the camera is even worse. When you're in the car, the camera is glued to the rear bumper. So every single bump of the road, every single slight turn you take, the camera just jitters around like this. Like, dude, there needs to be a little bit of, you know, a little bit of a delay in how fast camera responds, you know, to you, so that it feels like you're in a tank. You know, it's like the second you turn even slightly, the camera always turns with you. It's like this. Like usually, you know, you first turn and then camera kind of follows you. In most games that understand how camera works. So for some reason, the devs of Sleeping Dogs just did not understand how camera work, because camera is just like that. And you cannot, there aren't even multiple camera angles for when you're in the car. Also, the game is, you know, it's a urban, you know, style, open world game. There are collectibles. In order to find collectibles, of course, you need to be looking around. When you look around, you move camera around, and that gives you headache. Because the second you try to adjust camera, like if you want to turn the camera even a little bit when you're in the car, it just goes flying like this. Oh, you want to look to the side of you? Okay, the second you let go of the... Okay, so here's your car. You want to look to the side of you. The second you let go of the right stick, the camera does this. Ugh. Okay, cool. I'm back in the center. Jesus Christ. It is so annoying to just like trying to look at something in that game. So the way you're supposed to play that game, you're not supposed to, like, it's one of those games where, you know how when you play third-person games, if this is not the literal first game you've played ever, you like to turn the camera before you actually turn the character, so that you can see where you're going, right? You cannot do that in Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is one of those games where you just, it's like playing like an N64 game, right? It's like playing Mario 64. You know, there's no camera. You know, you just go where you think you're supposed to be going and pray that the camera will point there eventually. And the Sleeping Dogs camera is actually pretty okay at it. It's just that I like looking around so that I can see collectibles. Third day of playing it, I legitimately got headache from that camera. My brain resisted it for the longest time, but on the third day, my brain said, nope, here's a migraine. Migraine, yeah. Here's a migraine. I just, you know, I cannot, like, sorry, John, I did everything I could, but this is just impossible to continue. Anyway, pretty interesting story, although pacing is all over the place and literally no ending. And somehow the devs, or the publishers probably, Square Enix, thought it was a good idea to release two about 2 to 3 hour long DLC for the game that doesn't have an ending. It doesn't even have a real, like, ending cutscene. We're gonna release like 2-3 hour long DLC for it. Just genius. But anyway, those things aside, Hong Kong is absolutely beautiful. I would love if we could have like a Ryuga Gotoku game, you know, because like that, like, why cannot we have a GTA Ryuga Gotoku? And don't tell me that Yakuza, what was it, 7? The one with Ichiban, the first one, not the second one in Hawaii, the first one in Yokohama. Like, don't tell me that that's like, oh, look how big it is. It's almost like, no. Yeah, it's big and, by the way, completely empty. It's big and absolutely entirely empty. Like, the level of fidelity of that open world is just like, Ryuga Gotoku 6? 7, you think? Nope. Ryuga Gotoku 6? 7 is like this. Level of detail in that world is much, much lower. Anyway, yeah, it's almost like, why did we even bother, you know, creating the Dragon engine if now we make overbloated, empty games with no level of detail. But I would say, especially North Point, it was very obvious that the game, most of the game, like North Point is Sleeping Dogs. Like the rest of the areas of Sleeping Dogs were an afterthought. Like North Point is where the world designers. Wow, you're really going to do that here? North Point was the part where the devs thought, okay, we're definitely finishing this game. This game is happening, right? Okay, cool. Let us make like the coolest, most detailed open world ever. And then they went on a budget. So the other 3 areas of Hong Kong were definitely finished in a rush and on a shoestring budget. North Point was the one that like they actually worked on while still having the money. Because North Point is amazing. It's basically like Ryuga Gotoku level of graphical fidelity, only on the scale, you know, like 20 times bigger than any Ryuga Gotoku game. Well, it's Hong Kong, of course, it's not Japan, but what other game like that have we ever seen? GTA 5 takes place in Los Angeles, which doesn't really have much detail in real life, let alone in a video game. And what we have, GTA 4. GTA 4 takes place in basically New York, and yeah, I mean New York has some of that like neo-Gothic, like Midwestern, like American, you know, architecture, absolutely. But GTA 4, well, in my imagination, in my memory, GTA 4 has way better graphics than it has in reality. In reality, GTA 4 graphics by modern standards, no. Sleeping Dogs looks much better. Sleeping Dogs actually looks impressive. Reflections in that game are absolutely insane, by the way. Why did we need ray tracing again? You know? Oof. Reflections on Sleeping Dogs. They're fucking mind-blowing. The game is over 10 years old. And it looks exactly like you guys... Oh, Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man with ray tracing. Look at those reflections. Oh, those reflections. Reflections are so good. Like, dude, Sleeping Dogs. 2012. Like, 95% there. At like 1% of the performance cost. Okay, dude, whatever. You know, have fun with your RTX 580 or whatever. 5080. Have fun with your mom's credit card and your $5,000 GPU. You know, that runs games at 720p, upscaling them to 1080p, sorry, 4K at 35 FPS. Have fun with your Spider-Man, you know, on PC or whatever it is. No, you're playing some kind of like Unreal Engine 5 bullshit. Oh, Space Marine 2. Oh yeah, Space Marine 2 is so best. Don't pay attention at all. There's just a cheap Left 4 Dead knockoff. Ooh, Left 4 Dead. Space Marine best. Yeah, have fun with that. Yeah, absolutely. Having a supercomputer to play a game that looks like that, and especially plays like that, absolutely justifies, you know, spending multiple $1,000s, something like that. Whilst you can buy like a used $300 laptop from 10 years ago and play Watch Dogs at full HD. Sleeping Dogs at full HD, you know, and 60 FPS. Yeah, it's, you know, definitely, guys. You know, RTX, ray tracing. That's the way forward. Just don't pay any attention that actually none of the games can even run at like full HD. You know, they have to run at upscaling. Ooh, you know. You literally need like AI to generate frames for you because your GPUs can't even do it. Like, yeah, so justified. Anyway, so you're not gonna believe it, but I also did play Watch Dogs. And you might say, what the fuck? Did you do it like as a meme? Like, hey, you played Sleeping Dogs, well, might as well play the other dogs game. Well, again, okay, first of all, Watch Dogs 1 takes place in Chicago, which is like one of like 3 best looking cities in the United States, and it looks absolutely amazing, by the way, in the game. I mean, in real life, I don't know, never been actually, but seen photos, looks amazing. Neo-Gothic, you know, like mid-20th century, like urban Americana. Absolutely fucking my thing. You know, I hate the way LA looks, by the way. I'm sorry, Americans. I know, you know, fucking sacred. Dude, LA looks like Mexico. It just does. And I've been to Mexico. To more than one city, even. Trust me, it is. It's just Mexico that's like has slightly bit more, a little bit more money. Yeah. But, yeah, Chicago in Watch Dogs 1 looks absolutely amazing. And I honestly, yeah, of course I thought of Watch Dogs after playing Sleeping Dogs. And Sleeping Dogs, like, am I even glad that I played it finally? Because, yeah, on console, I just couldn't play it. Like, that game at 720p with that camera, with that FOV at 720p and, like, 25 FPS, I just couldn't. You know, at 60, at least it was just responsive enough so that even the combat wasn't that annoying. At 30 FPS, at 25 FPS, like, no, dude, I just couldn't play it. I couldn't cope back in the day. I was like, yeah, okay, this looks impressive, but I play it and I'm getting angry. And now that I, you know, can play it on das Computar, you know, with maxed out graphics, yeah, it's more fun. It's actually tolerable. The camera is still very, very annoying. I wouldn't probably recommend this game, honestly, to pretty much anyone, unless you're a normie who don't even know what's good. Then you'd probably be pretty impressed with it. But it was an interesting experience, but I already know that if I were to replay it, and I wouldn't necessarily mind if it was, like, fixed, you know? If I were to replay it, I would... Before I did it, I'd be like, oh fuck, you know, Sleeping Dogs is so cool. Sleeping Dogs is so fucking cool. And then you actually play it and you want to barf. You know, absolutely the idea of this game and the intent was much better than the game itself. But it is worth it to play through it, I think, if you physically can do it. Woo. If you physically can do it, you should do it. But yeah, I wouldn't call it particularly great simply because of how just camera makes it almost unplayable a lot of the time. And yeah, so after I finished that, I played Watch Dogs 1 and not even remotely done with it yet. But here's what I can tell you about Watch Dogs 1. Fucking YouTube grifters made such a big deal out of, you know, the game not looking as good as its original gameplay presentation video, which changes absolutely nothing about the game itself, by the way. And yet that alone was enough to just completely hate this game forever. So when it came out, fucking grifters came up with like 300 made-up reasons for why it sucks. And none of those reasons were true. You know, most normies haven't even played it, probably, but they still, you know, bought into the idea, you know, it being terrible and contributed to spreading that misinformation. And yeah, no, I finally played it 11 years later, and there's hardly anything wrong with that game. Compared to Sleeping Dogs, driving mechanics are actually fantastic. Like, yeah, sure, they are a bit arcadey, like cars do not flip, for example. You know, every time your car gets in the air, some air time, it literally freezes. in terms of rotation. Rotation just freezes. You know, it doesn't rotate at all when it's midair. But like, whatever. And like, same people who would say there is nothing wrong with Sleeping Dogs, it's a fucking masterpiece, guys, everyone should play it. You say that, oh, Watch Dogs, you know, oh, it looks like shit. And it looks amazing. What the fuck are you talking about? If Cyberpunk actually looked like this, instead of how it looked like when it came out, you know, especially on PS4. You know, if Cyberpunk on PS4 when it came out looked like that, people would have said, it's just the best fucking thing ever. What are you talking about? You know, Watch Dogs 1 looks absolutely fantastic. It plays, yeah, it's a little bit cocked. Like, there is no like weapon modification, for example, so the game doesn't actually allow you to play, like, it's no Far Cry, right? But there's still quite a few, there's still space, okay, for player expression. It is still pretty open-ended in a lot of the time. And yeah, I don't really mind the gameplay. Driving is fine. Shooting is actually trash. Like, shooting is better in Sleeping Dogs. Like, Watch Dogs just have like a pretty meh shooting. Shooting just feels very, like, I don't know, shit just goes everywhere. Like, you just, it kind of looks like Division. Who would have thought that it, you know, it would look like the Division? It's just very uninspired. Like Sleeping Dogs, at least, you know, shooting in that game has some character. Not a lot of character in shooting in Watch Dogs. The story is perfectly fine and pretty relatable. I do not hate the main character. The hacking itself in the game is a meme. Like, have you seen the movie The Net, for example? It has like one of the most, I have no idea what computers even are, kind of like perspective on the internet and just computers in general. You know, like, that game has the most, that movie has the most of that shit ever. Like, it's, I think it's like 1996 and 1995. Oh, tell me it's not 1999 movie. Anyway, yeah, that movie, like, the director just had no idea what computers do, what the internet is. And it's like a movie about hackers, essentially, and hacking. And Watch Dogs is kind of the same way. Like, the game designers honestly didn't really know much about how computers work, what hacking is like, and whatnot. But they came up with this vision of the future, and they came up with all these systems that, like, so funny, honestly. So funny that, like, even terminology is terminology is used pretty shittily. Like, the word fixer is used, for example, instead of the word mercenary or like a net runner or runner. The word fixer is used. No, the fixer is the dude from whom runners get their jobs. Jesus Christ, like, how could you mess that up? But yeah, no, like, the game legitimately uses the word fixer to say mercenary, or like a goon, you know, hired goons. Yeah, mercenary, net runner, you know, runner, whatever, freelancer. Quite a few words you could use for that. And fixer is not one of those words. In fact, fixer means something pretty radically different from what those people are. And yeah, just goddamn, you know, goddamn hate train. And then Watch Dogs 2 came out. Watch Dogs 2 takes place in San Francisco. Who the hell is gonna want to play that? And no, though, ooh, you know, Watch Dogs 2, we totally fixed it, i.e. Ubisoft paid us a little bit to say that Watch Dogs 2 totally fixes everything. Yay! Yeah. Cringe Dogs 2. Totally so much better than the first game, though. Yeah, no. hardly anything wrong with the first game, like legit. If you never played it, but you quote unquote know that it's terrible, right? Because Angry Joe told you, like, you should try it. It's actually a pretty good game. I'm shocked myself. Although, of course, you do need to play it on PC, and flawless widescreen has a FOV hack. Otherwise, the game is unplayable. But that's if you're a PC player. If you're a console normie, you don't even know what FOV is, and you know, if I give you, like, this is your screen and this is your character, like a third-person game, this is your character, you're gonna be like, this is totally fine. I love God of War. This camera is great because it's up and personal. It's very immersive. So you probably wouldn't even care about it, but in case you're an OG, yeah, there are no mods for fixing the FOV, but flawless widescreen has a memory hack for it. That, by the way, breaks the reticle for sniper rifles. Yeah, the optical sights are broken. Like that overlay that you get, like the first person, like reticle overlay, is just, it just disappears if your FOV is altered. But it's you know, it's a small price to pay. It's a small price to pay. Anyway, yeah, solid game. Okay, it's getting rather dark, and Aini doesn't want to play with me because he thinks I am busy. I'm talking on the phone. This summer, this season, like, if I don't give Aini 100% attention, he just doesn't want to play. He's like, nah, you know, you're talking to somebody. No, I'm not gonna play with you while you're talking. Like, whatever, dude. And yeah, it is still incredibly humid, but at least not as hot as an hour ago, so that's how I managed to. His dog is not even panting. That's how you know it's tolerable. And I wanted him to just, you know, be outside a little bit more today, because yesterday it was unbearable outside, and then it rained in the evening, and you know, whole night, whole morning, and the entire day today I was just working. So, maybe hot, but it's technically it's an air fresher than what we have in house. Okay, I'm out.